So you have a lot of journalists coping and seething, right? I mean, and that's going to be the term we're going to use since we have the clip now. They're coping and seething because they don't want to admit that Ghost of Tsushima is not only very successful, but also very adored by a lot of people who are into games like that. They are so desperate to want Assassin's Creed Shadows to be a win. And again, for all intents and purposes, it could very well be a win. We don't know. The game's not out yet, right? In terms of how well it might do. But the sales are going to speak for itself. And it'll be interesting to compare it against other Assassin's Creed games, but that's neither here nor there. They're coping and seething extremely hard because they're trying to downplay Ghost of Tsushima by calling it just another samurai game. Right, I had people in my comments when I was talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows in all my videos. They would be like, well, why do you want just another samurai game? And my first question to them is, well, what do you mean by just another samurai game? And they're like, well, Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be different. And I'm like, explain to me how Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be a different samurai game. And how every other game is just another samurai game. Please say the quiet part out loud because you are trying to dance around it, you racist fucks. Just say the quiet part out loud. You're trying to say that Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be a different samurai game because it has a black samurai? That's what makes it different? How the fuck does adding a black samurai make it any different from any other samurai game? Because that's really what they're saying. They're saying that, oh, well, we don't want just another samurai game. Anytime people say, hey, maybe you should have put a male Japanese protagonist, they're like, well, why would you want that? That's just going to make it another samurai game, just like every other one. What? So throwing in a black character suddenly makes it different. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. And it's the same thing here. It says, boy, I sure hope Assassin's Creed Shadows isn't just Ghost of Tsushima. And it says Ghost of Tsushima is often compared to Assassin's Creed in Japan and fulfilled the concept long before Ubisoft did. But Ghost of Tsushima is boring. I think Shadows has a good chance to be more narratively interesting. I've heard of a lot of people talk about Ghost of Tsushima. I have never heard anybody call the game boring. Myself included. I've played Ghost of Tsushima. I have it on PS5. It's a very good game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would not call it boring in the slightest. In the slightest. This is maximum cope. They're trying to say Ghost of Tsushima is boring because they desperately want the narrative around Assassin's Creed Shadows to be positive. And then it says, if we're lucky, Shadows will bring back the stealth gameplay that Ghost of Tsushima excelled with and also tell a better story. How is the story going to be better? Tell me. They are immediately saying that Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be narratively better. And the only reason they're saying that is because they're including Yasuke. This is cope and seethe to maximum. Maximum. And there's so many articles like this. I mean, we got to play it, man. This is maximum cope. We got to play it.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
Bro, this is maximum coping. That's all these gaming urinalists are doing. Every single one of them are trying desperately to hold on, hold the line strong, and pretend as if, oh, Assassin's Creed is going to be so amazing because it has a black samurai. So if you read this first paragraph, it says the reveal trailer for Assassin's Creed Shadows released last week to great fanfare alongside plentiful discourse. Fans, wait, what? Great fanfare? Did they not see the dislike ratio? Great fanfare. It was like a 3-to-1 dislike ratio. What? Alongside plentiful discourse. Well, at least you admitted that. Fans of the series have wanted Ubisoft to make an Assassin's Creed set in Japan for years, exactly. And now that it's finally here, I've mostly heard complaints. Well, that's because they're not giving them what they actually wanted. They're not giving fans what they actually wanted from an Assassin's Creed game based in Japan. People wanted to play a male samurai, a male Japanese samurai. If you were to ask someone 10 years ago what an Assassin's Creed game in Japan would look like, the last thing they would tell you is a black male lead. I don't give a fuck if you think that's racist or not. It's just the fucking truth. Just like you wouldn't say, hey, what does an Assassin's Creed game based in the sub-Saharan Africa would look like? Oh, gee, I don't know, maybe a male Japanese character? No, nobody would say that. Nobody would say that. Then it says a lot of that was because the game was revealed to have dual protagonists, one of whom is Yasuke, a real historical figure who is largely considered the first black samurai. Largely considered the first black samurai. Again, to who? To who? It is amazing to me how they are still continuing this narrative. And yet it has been proven over and over again that there is no information or history that actually showcases that. But again, we don't really care about that. Because at this point, Yasuke is a folklore character. That's what Yasuke is. Even the Japanese treat Yasuke as a folklore character. They showcase him in many different ways that have nothing to do with his actual real historical context. So at this point, he is well beyond what he initially was historically, right? So Yasuke being a first black samurai or not, I don't really care. But let's be real. You think Ubisoft chose him because they wanted to showcase a first black samurai for historical accuracy? Or did they do it because they knew what it would mean for them for their ESG and DEI? I would probably say it's the second one at the end of the day. We all know exactly what Ubisoft loves to do. Holy crap. Shout out. I can't ignore this because I'm recording a video. Shout out to Sonia Lisette. Wow. $100 banger. Says, for the founder of the waifu battle and the leader of the bigot army, mucho amor, papi, with the emojis. That is incredible. Sonia Lisette is loaded. She got that Canadian DEI money and is now giving it to the bigot army. Shout out to Sonia Lisette with the red boy. It's been a little while since we got a red boy. Couple days, maybe a week or so. But shout out to Sonia Lisette. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. We're going to give you a victory pancake. You already know how it goes. $100 bang. Look at that. $100 bang. That is saying that they all love Sonya. Bigot Army loves Sonya. Shout out to Sonya. We're also going to give you a very classic, very well-earned Dancing Ryan. Thank you so much, Sonia. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. All right, let's continue after that red boy. Massive. I think that got us catgirl ears too, by the way. I think that got us catgirl ears. I'm pretty sure. Then it says, naturally, because we're in the midst of an ill-advised... Oh, here it goes. Here it goes. This is where the cope gets into play. You guys ready for the cope? Here we go. Naturally, because we're in the midst of an ill-advised and anti-diversity movement in gaming, there was a wave of false outrage about the inclusion of a black man in a game set in Japan. Look at this. Look at this fucking paragraph. We're in the midst of an ill-advised anti-diversity movement. So, you know what's amazing to me is that these tourists in the gaming scene are so angry over the fact that they can't claim credit for being the first ones to discover black people in gaming. Because they're out here running to everyone's face and be like, hey, do you know black people exist? Do you know gay people exist? Did you know that? Did you know that? Did you know that? And then people are like, yeah, I kind of knew that. I mean, back in the day, you know, I used to play fighting games, and in the 90s, you know, we used to have a great time. I mean, it's been going on for decades. You good? And they're like, you're a bigot. How could you not understand or recognize the existence of black people? It's like, well, we do. We always have, especially in the anime scene. I mean, there's a ton of black people who are fans of anime. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, did you just figure this out? Were you not there when we were playing Marvel versus Capcom or Street Fighter? I don't understand. Like, where have you been? And then they just lose their fucking mind because again, they just discovered the existence of black people and they want to claim that they discovered it. They want to claim, well, we're going to show and we're going to make sure that black people are seen every single day. We're going to make sure because listen, it's our duty as white leftists, it's our duty to make sure that we pass the microphone to our black brothers. We need to make sure that they get their voices heard. That's what we have to do because without us, they're not going to be able to speak. I mean, guys, the inherent racism that comes out of the mouths of some of these people is wild. And the sad thing is that, unfortunately, a lot of black people eat that shit up. It's really sad. It's really fucking sad.